Okay, so I have printed out all of the pages that are included in the PDF. There are 10 pages total. So I just want to make sure all of those are here before I go forward. And I'm going to fold each of the pages. The outside covers, I'm going to fold with the right side out. So the photos are on the outside of the fold, like so. But the rest of the pages, I'm going to fold with the right sides in. So, like so. I'm going to do this with all 10 pages. You could use a bone folder here. You could not. But really the important part of it is making sure that the edges really line up well. So this process, this binding technique is kind of inspired by a drum leaf binding. I had the lovely pleasure of taking a studio art elective in bookmaking at the University of Florida with Ellen Knudsen, who is a bookmaker and printmaker. I was really privileged to work with her, and it just pulled together so many like various strands of this project. And it gave me this like time and new techniques, this like infusion of new like studio time and processes that really helped flesh this out. And when research got very stressful, writing and collecting my survey data and going through the process of IRB for those of you who have done research in America. When that all got stressful, I could just like make some books and make some zines. And it was a really nice continuation of what I mentioned before about like kind of renewing this personal practice, because before coming back to my studies, I was really like, I don't know what I do as an artist, you know, like, yes, I'm a tattoo artist and I paint tattoo paintings, and I used to make zines, but it was like pretty much everything was just like work. And, you know, I was also a parent of tiny kids, you know, babies at the time. So, but it felt very empty, like calling myself an artist felt very empty at that time. So, bookmaking really filled a space in that. So, all right, got my 10 pages folded. So like I said, this is a riff on the drum leaf method. The actual drum leaf binding is more complicated, but this is just like a very lo-fi version that I think people could do at home without any special materials, really. The most hard to find thing, I guess, would be double-sided tape. I'm using like a, you know, art double-sided tape, but this is available on Amazon. But you could also use, I think, just like regular plastic, like cellophane double-sided tape. I think that would work too. You can even maybe do this just with a glue stick. I think that might work. I haven't tried it though. So I have the nine pages that are white on each side that are folded into each other in one pile. And I have my covers here separately because these covers I'm actually going to separate into two. So I'm going to cut on this fold so that my front and back cover are separated. If you were trying to make a lot of these books, you know, 50, this might not be a great process for zines. I don't know. I mean, people do it, right? Make huge editions of more complicated book projects, but all right, so here's my front cover and my back cover. And I'll just lay them on there for now. Okay. So other materials that you need besides maybe a ruler, just to do this one cut that I showed, scissors, double-sided tape, like I said, X-Acto knife, if you know you want to be very precise with some of the cuts. And then something else that is really important is just like these binding clips. So what I'm gonna do now is on each I'm going to take my covers and set them to the side. And on each one of these, so each of these is a folio. Each folio, I'm going to place a strip of double-sided tape on both sides. So I'm not going to put it on the top or the bottom, but just on each of the long sides. I'm going to use the scissor to cut the tape. But if you wanted to lay these down on the mat and get a really close cut, you could do that too, but kind of is a little messier that way. I'd rather to cut the tape because it doesn't really need to go all the way to the end. Yeah, annoying. Ignore that, don't use the exact. Okay, so I'm going to do this on all, each of the folios. I don't have to do on both sides, I'm only doing it on one side. So just like this on all 9 pages. Then also going to put 2 pieces on the back. On the very, very last section, you'll put a piece here on the backs of this one. So I've already done the whole book with all of these tapes, so you don't have to watch me cut and measure 20 pieces of tape. So here is my completed text block here. I have my cover, my front cover, and then one only taped on the fronts, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And on this 9th one, because this is what goes against my back cover, it's also taped on its back. So this one, this 9th page actually was 4 pieces. Okay. Now here comes the clips. So my covers are on. I'm gonna get this like as straight as possible, even as possible, and then put some binding clips on. So if this were a proper drum leaf binding, this is where some glue would come in. And you would be, if this was your text block, you wouldn't have covers on it yet. If this was like a more complicated actual drum leaf binding, you wouldn't have covers on yet because your covers would be made out of bookboard and you'd have spine and all of this stuff. But at this point, you would be actually gluing this edge right here. So that's the thing that you could also do if you had access to, or you wanted to, make that step like available. You could glue with a brush right here. And in that case, I would put my binding clips really, really close to the edge here because you want the glue to bleed like way down in between your pages. But I would be brushing glue on here in most of the drum leaf binding that I would do. But in this case, I'm just using tape. So I'm going to, one at a time, peel my double-sided tape off. So it's still in the binding clips. I'm going to peel my double-sided tape off and just stick down. I'm just turning one page at a time. Throw my tape. Stick my page down. And the binding clips are here, of course, because I want to keep it all in the same spot. I don't want the pages to like wiggle over. And it's really hard to like reline up your pages when you have a sticky piece of tape here. So line up your pages and the binding clips keeps them lined, and then all you're doing is just peeling and sticking tape down to the place where you left it. Last page. Other side. This is the back of the last folio. It's attaching to my back cover. And now all of these ends are secured. So the open end of my book is now secured. So now I just need to secure the spine end, the spine side. I'm going to move my clips over a little bit. And again, if you wanted to at this point, you could glue this edge. You could put a piece of like tissue paper or something here. You could even maybe put a piece of masking tape if you wanted it to function more like a drum leaf binding might. But for this purpose, because I'm not installing an actual cover, but I'm just letting pieces of paper be the cover, I think it's better to not add a whole bunch of weight to the edge of the book. Or stickiness of glue. Again, my last folio here, it's on the back. Okay. Now I can't flip through here. I mean, it's, you know, come apart if you really peel it, but on this side I should be able to flip. And here is this drum leaf style binding. And the thing that I like about this drum leaf technique is that the page is laid flat. So like when normally we make zines and we have to do these layouts where, you know, you're laying your pages out that are meant to be, you know, folded. This we can just make straight across full like bleed pages. I made these pages before I knew what the structure of the book was going to be. So this doing the drum leaf thing was really a reaction to like, okay, I made these layouts, now what? Now how am I going to bind them? So yeah, that is it. Please reach out to me if you want to talk about any of these things. I would love to hear everybody's feedback. I would love to hear what everyone's thoughts are. You know, I'm hoping that as I get further into the process of this research proposal, that I, you know, will be reaching out to artists and really like, you know, building a network of people to, you know, work through some of these research questions with of what is our experience like as makers in alternative media and in DIY.